Hello, welcome. In this section, let us understand some of the important concepts involved in performance testing, such as matrices and measurements. Virtual users. A virtual user means replica of a real user. During testing, we cannot have multiple real users. We cannot have hundreds of users sending a request. So we emulate the real users using virtual users. Virtual user actually mimics the real users, strategically navigating through the system and sending the requests and collecting the data. These things will be performed by virtual users, which are generated by the performance testing tool. Next concept is bottlenecks. A bottleneck means a point at which issue arises. When it comes to performance testing, bottleneck is a resource that limits or restrict the system performance. In this picture you can see road is wider here in this area. As we move towards the right side, the area of the road is reduced. That is the point where the problem starts, is called bottleneck. The next concept is scalability. Scalability is the capacity of the system to scale up and scale down as and when needed based on the demand. It means we can add additional resources and in such as servers, and you can scale up the capacity, and whenever you remove those resources you can scale down in capacity. Next concept is latency. Latency is the amount of time it takes for a data packet to move from one location to another. It means moving a request from client to server or moving a response from server to client. Here 200 millisecond is considered as a latency for request and 300 millisecond is a latency for the response. So total latency, it is also called round trip latency, is 500 millisecond. Another concept is called throughput. In any application or a software, efficiency is measured in throughput. It is calculated as number of work requests that a program can handle in certain amount of time. It is crucial measurement while running the performance test on the application software that is being researched. The next concept is called response time. Response time is a measure of how quickly system or application reacts to user request. Here, response time is time taken to send the request, time taken at the server side to process the request, and time taken to send the response back to the client. So so when we add all these times, response time will become 600 millisecond. This is an example to understand what response time really means. The next concept is saturation. Saturation occurs when a resource is subjected to a load more than it can handle. It means it is the maximum utilization of that resource. It means resource is not capable of handling more load beyond that maximum utilization. CPU utilization, as the name itself indicates, it is a percentage of CPU utilized while running a certain request. Memory utilization, similarly the percentage of memory utilized whenever certain request is getting processed. Concurrent users, this is one of the important concept. Concurrent users means multiple users are using the system but they are performing the different tasks at the same time. There is one more concept called simultaneous users. The difference is Here multiple users are using the application and also doing the same task at the same time. It's called simultaneous users. Next concept is think time. Think time is whenever you are navigating through a website and performing a certain task like clicking on the menu or clicking on a button, you will take some time to think. That time is called think time. The user passes for a while before taking each action. So while testing with the virtual users, we must take account of this think time while executing the script to simulate the real-time scenario in the testing environment. The next concept is called peak time. The anticipated busiest time for the server is called peak time. The amount of requests to the server is an all-time high. To give a real life example, for example, like a theme park on weekends and public holidays, it will be a peak time. It means maximum number of visitors will visit. The one more concept is peak load. The peak load is highest expected load during a peak hour or a peak time. The expected number, for example, the expected number of people at the park during evening and holiday is called peak load. Thank you.